What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. You know, sometimes when I go to record these YouTube videos, they go perfectly to plan, and other days you wake up with an intention of how you're gonna film it and it just goes completely out the window. So I filmed that little morning montage, which is basically the morning drink that I've been having. I don't know why, I don't know if that's a hot toddy, but it's basically honey, lemon, and I put salt in there. Is that a hot toddy? I don't know. Anyway, I've just started my mornings with that for no other reason than I think it's yummy. So I was gonna film that, and then I was gonna sort of do another bit of a day in the life, but yeah, some things have been happening in the family and in the personal life, so I didn't end up doing that. So we're just gonna record the rest of it for the rest of the day. So it's currently 3:40, I've just got back from the gym, I'm about to eat. But basically in today's video, I wanna talk to you guys about self-doubt, and more in particular, I wanna give you three, I guess, foundational pieces that have helped me tremendously overcome so much fear and so much self-doubt in myself, in what I'm doing, in my body, in my insecurities. And yeah, I want to share three things that have helped me dramatically. And if you do these things and you start to strengthen these areas and implement them, I can almost guarantee that you will live with so much less self-doubt. And this is something I guess I've developed over the years, but more in particular, upon reflection, looking back on specifically around my body insecurities and the challenge I've had with that and my confidence, and what I've sort of done to be able to get to the place I'm at now. All right, so stay tuned. I'm gonna eat and then I'm gonna fill you guys in on the first one of these phases. So the first foundational piece you need is to have some form of spiritual connection, right? Now this is something that I am relatively new to, and I've gone through some different chapters in regards to my spirituality. Back in the day when I was, you know, my body dysmorphia, my insecurities, and my self-doubt was at its highest, I had zero spirituality. Like, my sisters used to burn incense and were into sort of meditation and journaling and oracle cards and these kind of things. And I would look at that and be like, I don't need that. Like, I'm a man. I don't need to dive into spirituality. That's for hippies, that's for women, and that's not something I need. And ironically, that's when I was struggling with doubt the most. I then sort of slowly started to step into that and understand its importance, but I still never fully committed. And this was sort of probably 4 to 5 years ago, where things were getting better in terms of my doubt, in terms of my body insecurities and all those kind of things. And my spirituality, like, I understood it. I was journaling, I was meditating, I was understanding that there was something bigger at play than just us, but it was still nowhere near where it needed to be. However, these days and right now, my spiritual connection is as good as it has ever been. I personally choose to speak to God. I read the Bible, I pray. I am very much in that level of spirituality now, and that doesn't mean that you need to do that. But what is so important, like when we have self-doubt and when we're struggling with that, we need to understand that there is something bigger at play here. And if we are doubting ourselves so much, it means we're trying to do everything ourselves, right? And everything, you know, must start and must end with us. And that can be really draining. You can lead yourself to burnout when it just feels like nothing you do is working, right? And I know for me, and again, this is just my experience, this is my opinion, what's worked with me, especially this year when I started, I guess, finding God and really diving into this level of spirituality, was having someone there. Whether you believe it's real or not, it's actually pretty irrelevant whether God is real, right? But for me, having the belief system that there is something else there guiding me, that has a plan for me, that I can speak to when I'm, you know, having challenges, that I know will have my back when I'm having challenges, and also to reaffirm to me that I am a worthy person capable of whatever I set my mind to. Right? And having that trust and doing these things, that alone has allowed my doubt to totally go away, because I'm like, well, for me, I am made in the image of my creator, right? Whatever you choose to believe. That means that I shouldn't have any doubt, right? Because I'm doubting the very thing that made me, and that's just not something you do when your spirituality is dialed in. So what I would recommend to you, again, you don't have to go that far if you don't want to, although I personally think it's a great way to live your life. But having some sort of spiritual connection to ground you into your worthiness as a human, to understand that you are capable of whatever it is you set your mind to, right? With your body, with your relationships, business, lifestyle, money, all these different things. And having that as your grounding piece in these three things I'm going to go through is vital if you're wanting to overcome that self-doubt. Now, the second piece of the puzzle is looking at our mental and our emotional worlds. And the easiest way for me to sum this up is to basically change the narrative and change the story that we live our lives by. So again, if I circle back to the body dysmorphia days, the high self-doubt days, the body insecurity days, the narrative and the story that was running my life was predominantly negative, right? My identity was pretty much based around those insecurities. It was based in that body dysmorphia, and that's who I saw myself as. So that's who I showed up as, right? I showed up as someone that had the level of confidence of someone who had body dysmorphia, right? I showed up and felt about my body, the clothes that I wore all reflected someone that, had body dysmorphia. And the more we can look into that story and be like, okay, what story, what narrative is actually running my life? Is it one that is based in optimism, in pride, in confidence, in glass half full? Or is it a story that is very much based in fear, in doubt, in I'm not good enough, I'm not capable, I'll never get there, I'll never attract in X, Y, Z, right? Because that's how our life is then going to play out. And something that I take into my coaching and something that I've done as well is I sort of go against, I guess, your typical mental health approaches in this sense, in terms of obviously there are some things, right? I'm not going to go, into the real bad end of the spectrum here, but there are some things that we need to sit in and unpack and go back and work out what happened and all that kind of thing. But I'm of the belief that there comes a point where that actually becomes more detrimental than it does beneficial. So an easiest way for me to put that is for me to get to where I am now, specifically again around my body confidence, it would not do me any favor to continue to sit here and go back into the past and reflect on when I was bullied for my chest. It wouldn't do me any favor to constantly think about how I was the only kid that would wear a rashie because he didn't want people to see what he looked like. It wouldn't do me any favors to think about, the times I felt unworthy, the times that I have felt unattractive and I needed the lights off if I was with a partner. Like, that is not going to help me moving forward. That has happened. And I understand that that is a source for a lot of the challenges that I experience. But the more I sit and dwell and think about what has happened in the past, no matter what it is, like, that is not going to help me, because if I'm thinking about that, that is then going to create thoughts in my head, right? Which is going to create language, which is going to create actions. And the more we sit and dwell, the more that those thoughts and that past is going to continue to create the future. And these are these cycles that we can get in, right? It's the people that always attract the same kind of partner because all of their thinking is back in what they've had in the past, right? They're not thinking beyond their challenges. So when it comes to self-doubt, if you're someone that doubts yourself all the time, you don't have the confidence, maybe you are insecure in your body, it's not going to do you any favors to continue to tell yourself that that's the story in which you live by. I've been able to overcome that and transcend that to become who I am today and what I look like today because I made the choice to change the story and start to look forward into what I wanted instead of sitting in the past. So I've posted about this before, right? I had a moment, and I continue to have these moments where I'm like, who do I need to be the best father? Who do I need to be the best husband? Who do I need to be to take my business to the point in which I want to take it, to help the most amount of people, right? That's where my focus is. So I'm building every day that version of me rather than being like, oh yeah, but this happened to me and I was bullied and this, and I just need to heal and reflect. And it's like, the more you do that, the more you're sitting in your own shit, basically. Like, you're in this cage and you're surrounded by your own shit, and the more you sit there, the more you talk about it, the more you dwell on it and not move, the stinkier it's going to get, the more it's going to compile. And then you're just sitting in this cage and you wonder why you don't feel motivated to go anywhere, and you wonder why you doubt yourself. It's like that story in your head is keeping you in that cage. Whereas when I work with people, and what I did with myself was, it's like, okay, where do I want to go now? Yeah, this stuff has happened to me, but where am I going moving forward? What kind of body do I need, or do I want to have? What do I need to do to get there? And working out where my gaps were to be able to actually create that, so I can get out of the shit, get out of the cage and be like, oh, there is like another world out here that I couldn't see because my perception and my vision was constantly focused on the past, right? And this is something I go into with my clients in the reality creation module, where we actually understand how we create our reality. And the more we sit in that kind of thing and think about it and speak about it, the more that is going to be created in the future. So if you're doubting yourself, there is a reason you're doubting yourself, because you're probably not giving yourself any evidence to transcend that doubt. All right, so that's where I guess the basis of a lot of this inner world work that I do is, it's around changing your story. It's changing your narrative from what it's been to what it needs to be to reach X, Y, Z goal, whatever that might be, right? And that's another piece, having that outcome. So ask yourself, what do I need to do to change my story, and what do I want to change my story to? And the final piece you need to have to overcome that self-doubt is based around your physical body, your training, and your nutrition and health as a whole. And as I'm talking, I'm gonna chuck some training clips up from today's session, so you're not just watching me talk the whole time. But if you are not in a body that fills you with confidence, if you're not in a body that you can look in the mirror and be genuinely proud of, and this is a big one, if you're not in a body that you don't have to convince yourself that you love and are happy in and are confident in, then you will continue to experience doubt. And again, this is all coming from experience. This is all coming from things I have done in the past very unsuccessfully. I've been in that place where I've tried to body positive my way out of doubt and out of fear by convincing myself I was happy, but deep down, it's like, who are you kidding? It's like there was this piece within me that was like hearing what I was trying to do mentally. It was hearing I was trying to change my language and just love who I was and accept who I was, what I looked like when I was, not in the best shape, right? And it's like, what are you doing? Who are you trying to kid? And that can be the trouble with social media these days from a number of different angles. There's obviously the comparison side, where you see people that look incredible and you compare yourself to them, and that makes you feel down. And then there's also the toxic body positivity side, where it's telling you to just accept yourself, to not even want to lose weight, to not try and better your physique because it's obsessive or it's egotistical, right? And then you get in this place where you're spending more energy convincing yourself that you are confident and you love what you look like. And this is detrimental because it then leads to basically no action. And then it's like, I have an excuse to eat not as well. I have an excuse to not nourish my body, to not move as much, and to not prioritize my health. And again, one of the biggest keys for me having, I still obviously have self-doubt, but being able to get rid of so much of it is the way my body is. And that's not just from an aesthetic standpoint. It's from, I'm just confident that my body can pretty much do everything I need it to do. I can train in the gym, I can run, I can climb, I can, lift things around the house, right? It is set up for that. When it comes to my nutrition, like, it is so dialed in now. I feel so good. My energy is constant. My mental clarity is great. And from a health perspective, I'm really, really good. And all of these things help me with my doubt, because I know I've got a body and a level of health and energy that is going to make me sort of believe in myself and be able to do things, right? Because there's nothing that will fill you with doubt faster when you're in a body that's like, oh, I'm probably going to get sick, or, oh, I'm just too tired to go train because I've got no energy because I eat like shit, because I've just accepted my body for what it is. And there's just no spark there. There's no life there, right? And something I've actually said to my sister, who's just started basically eating the same way I do, very animal based, high quality meat, and just like her skin, her energy, her vibration is so much different to how it used to be. And this is just, an example of that. And when you can create that kind of body, that perception of yourself, then the need for doubt just decreases, because like, what have I got to doubt anymore? I look amazing, and I've actually allowed myself to own the fact that I want to look amazing. And that's the other thing, like owning your surface level desires to improve your body, to reach your aesthetic potential, to get as strong as you can, as fit and healthy as you can, to me is the highest form of self-love. And again, like, this fits into the toxic body positivity category, where people will be demonized for the fact that they say they want a bigger bum or a six pack or a snatch waist or whatever it might be, right? And again, that's adding resistance to the fact that we want to change our body. And to me, as I said, the highest form of self-love is, yes, know you're worthy no matter what, but I want my worthiness and my self-love to be tied up in my body, because that is an act of love to me to continue to improve it and to better it, right? And again, when my doubt was at its highest, my insecurities and my body was at its worst. My health was probably at its worst. The way I was eating and treating and nourishing my body was at its worst and non-existent. So be body positive, right? Especially if you are doing the things to improve it. That's where body positivity is incredible. But make sure you are not stuck in this place where you're just accepting who you are and you're throwing body positivity on the top of that. Because I promise you, sooner rather than later, like that self-doubt will be so loud, because it's like, well, what have I got to believe in? Like, real talk, like what evidence do I have to not doubt myself? And that's what all this comes down to. And this will segue well into me wrapping this video up. I appreciate if you guys are still here. Make sure you're subscribed. Chuck us a like, a comment if you've enjoyed this video. But for me, it's about proving to myself that I am worthy. It's about proving to myself that I can believe in myself, that I can trust in myself, and that I can do things. And that's why I'm diving so hard into my fat loss at the moment. It's like, cool, I want to prove to myself and continue to give myself evidence that I can do these things and I can become a better person, right? So look around your life and be like, well, do I have reasons to doubt myself? Yeah, I do, because of this, this, and this. Okay, cool. How do I eliminate those things, right? It is as much of a mindset as it is a doing things and a proving myself that I should not have to doubt myself. And I promise you, if you have these three things intact, if you've got that spiritual foundation, right? You know there's something bigger, you're connected to that, you spend time talking to that or praying to that or meditating to that or journaling or whatever feels good for you, right? That is your foundation. The next piece is change your story. Change the narrative in which you are living your life. Change your belief systems, change your language, right? So the internal dialogue is more positive, which is then going to help you create more in your external world, right? It's going to help you build that dream body. It's going to help you embody a level of health that supports your life, right? It's going to allow you to look in the mirror and be like, fuck yeah, I look good. Let's go win this day, rather than, oh my God, I'm just going to change outfits 10 times and sit here and cry because I hate what I see in the mirror. But body positivity, right? They're your three pillars. And with those, like, you will be unstoppable. You will feel amazing. And again, I say this from experience because this is exactly where I am. And don't get me wrong, I have my moments. We all do. That's normal. They're the three biggest things that I can reflect on from my experience and my journey that I think can really add to you guys. And this is essentially what my coaching and mentoring is as well. This is what the proving ground is going to be based in, basically these three things: getting you spiritually connected, changing your story, and then building your dream body and dream level of health, right? So if you're interested in jumping in that 8-week challenge, which is not really an 8-week challenge, it's my version of that, waitlist is down below in the description, so jump on there. And yeah, guys, if you've got any questions, any comments you would like to add, I would love to hear from you. Would love your feedback. I hope you've found this video useful. As I said, subscribe, go back and watch some other videos, and we'll see you guys in the next one.